The New York Times is comedy that writes itself.
You gotta be so good that they can't ignore you, especially the ones that ain't done shit for you. Yeah, you know exactly what I mean. They stab you in the back and then they ask why you're bleeding. I don't trust words, I trust actions. I don't care what you heard, I'm not slacking.
My name is Alan Roberts. This is Everyday Day Fitness. Like, subscribe, click the notification right over here, and share my videos. Subscribe to my second channel, Alan Roberts, My Opinion. Of course, link above and below at the end. And all those places, please subscribe and share those videos. Do all that stuff too. I appreciate it. So today we're going to talk about a ridiculous article I found from the New York Times. It was published on March 12th by Kim Severson, and it is, for larger customers, eating out is still a daunting experience. Restaurants have been slow to recognize, much less meet, the needs of plus-size Americans, but there are signs of new activism and awareness. So we're going to read some excerpts from this thing, and we are going to discuss how ridiculous this shit is. We really are. But first of all, don't put plus size anymore. We gotta lose the idea of plus size. Plus size is anybody, that was a term originally made for people that were just a little bigger than average. Okay, that's plus. This article doesn't talk about plus size people. This article talks about obese people, mostly morbidly obese people. We need to get back to, I understand that words may hurt you. For people of low constitution, words may hurt you. But calling yourself plus size when you're morbidly obese, you are not plus size. You are morbidly obese. There is a reason why they call it morbidly obese, because you are at risk of many health issues. So let's stop with this lying to ourselves and lying to each other. But I'm going to read some excerpts from here, and then I'm going to discuss my points on it, because this article is literally what's wrong with our society right now. Rebecca Alexander's worst experience dining while large happened just after she nailed a promotion at a nonprofit organization. She took her staff and her new boss to lunch at a promising downtown restaurant in Portland, Oregon, where she lives. As the hostess led the group to a booth, Miss Alexander, a 31-year-old who wears a size 30, knew in an instant there was no way she was going to squeeze into it. I remember having this out-of-body experience, she said. I watched myself sit down and try to get in, even though I knew the space was too small, because I so needed it to fit. Defeated, she asked for a table. The hostess told her that they would have to wait a half an hour. The cherry on top was that I got to be the reason that we had to stand around for 30 minutes, she said. A couple things. Miss Alexander, you are not dining while large. You're obese. You're morbidly obese. You are a size 30. You are morbidly obese. Call yourself... Let's not beat around it. You're not dining while large, okay? You're not dining while big. You're not plus size. You are obese. You are morbidly obese. I don't understand. I just don't. If it is something that is not, if there's nothing wrong with you, as many people with fat acceptance community state, if you want to be accepted, call yourself what you are, okay? You are fat. You are obese. The very first step into being able to accept yourself and love yourself, as the body positivity movement, or people that have hijacked the body positivity movement, want to state, the very first step is accepting it's part of you and loving it. You are fat. You are obese. You're not dining while large. Okay, I mean, the technical, I am not follically challenged. I am bald. I love being bald. I love it. I've accepted it. I've made it part of who I am. I love it. I absolutely love it. I am not, I am not thinning. I'm fucking bald. I don't have bald. I am bald. It is part of me. It is part of who I am. I couldn't change it without, thousands and thousands of dollars and doll hair, basically, which pass, by the way, you motherfuckers that do that, you look stupid. But accept who you are, And I will say this too. You just got a promotion. You might want to act a little bit more professional, okay? Because here's the reality. You're complaining that the restaurant is now making you wait for 30 minutes. You would have had to wait for 30 minutes no matter what, because you didn't make a reservation, because you just got a promotion and you're taking your boss out. And you should have at least called ahead. You really, really should have. You are a size 30. This cannot be the first time you've had issue in a restaurant. It just can't. You should ask for a table. If you're taking your boss out and your new staff and everything like that, you should be ready to go. Just a little professional tip, from somebody that did corporate for a long time. Just a little professional tip. You should have been prepared for that shit. You should have easily called them up, said, hey, I'm coming with X, blah, 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 a few people. Can I have a table just to be safe? Because you have your boss with you. That's on you. It really is. And by the way, so you sit in the booth and it can fit you. What happens if your boss is thin? So he's uncomfortable. You're okay with that. What happens if the rest of your staff is thin? So they're uncomfortable. You're okay with that. The world cannot cater to you because you are unhealthy, because you're morbidly obese, you're unhealthy. This shit's got to stop. It really does. So now we're basically telling restaurants, your booths aren't big enough. What happens if you're small? My wife is like 5 feet tall. There's no way if a booth that fits you would fit a size person that wears a size 30 dress. There's no way that she would be able to rest comfortably in that booth. There's just not. The author then goes on to write, for people who identify as large, plus size, or fat, dining out can be a social and physical minefield. Chairs with arms or impossibly small seats leave marks and bruises. Meals are spent in pain or filled with worry that the flimsy chair might collapse. Deciding where to eat is a challenge. Diners often comb through endless photographs of restaurants' foods online, hoping someone has posted an image of the chairs or space between tables. Even with the best preparation, there is no way to account for a clueless employee who doesn't notice that the bar stool with the curvy back just isn't going to work, or the well-meaning manager who doesn't want to call attention to the diner's size by asking which seat might be the most comfortable. Okay, the flimsy chair thing, I get. You don't want the chair to break because you don't want to get hurt, and no restaurant in their right mind would allow that to happen either, because the lawsuit would be fucking crazy. However, if you're so big that a chair hurts you, it bruises you while you sit down. If you are that big, you're expecting you're expecting them to make bigger chairs. What happens to people that are smaller? Then they can't put their arms up. Like, the idea is if it fits the majority of people, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. If you're super small, they don't have super small chairs and super small tables. I don't get this. Like, this pandering ass bullshit that you have eaten yourself into an unhealthy state and now want society to cater to you. I don't want you to be in pain. I don't. But wanting that to change means you should change, not the rest of the world. It does mean you should change. That is society's markers saying you don't fit into it. You do not fit into society because you don't fit in the chair. It's this weird thing where people are really nice when they realize what's going on, but in my experience, very few hostesses are aware ahead of time. Miss Alexander said, restaurants want to be able to serve large-bodied people, but I think they don't know that they have inadvertently created environments that are difficult for us. Of course, that non-buffets want obese people to eat at them because their money is green, and you'll get the same portion size as a normal person, and they might even order more food. And that's not to be mean, and that's not the case 100% of the time. But for the most part, when somebody's a size 30, you ate yourself there, just to be real. So, of course they want you to eat there. However, they didn't create an environment that's not hospitable to you. You created a body that's not hospitable to the environment. Expecting the environment to change is ridiculous. I mean, that's unbelievably foolish and arrogant and short-sighted and self-centered and bullshit. The author then goes on to write, eating in public when you live in a larger body can be challenging enough because of the judgment you may feel from others about your food choices, said Jess Baker. Oh, a familiar name. An author, speaker, and body image coach who lives in Tucson, Arizona. And people who are fat realize that accommodating them is not always easy or practical, especially in small urban restaurants where space is at a premium and even small framed diners feel cramped. But restaurants don't have to make it harder by ignoring a customer's physical reality. She said, it puts the onus on the fat person, said Miss Baker, 32, who fluctuates between a size 22 and 24. We are paying customers. We are paying you. We want to be comfortable and treated like humans. Yes, wisdom from Jess Baker, also known as the Militant Baker on Instagram, who's had me blocked forever. And I believe her book is called The Land Whale. Don't eat at the restaurant then, Jess. Don't. If the restaurant is full, if they are filling their tables and chairs, you and anybody else asking them to make bigger chairs or bigger accommodations so then they have less space and therefore less tables and less chairs, you are either asking them, A, to make less money, or B, to charge more money for their services to everybody else. Again, this is just people eating in an unhealthy fashion to the point where they get themselves to an unhealthy weight, because that's what it is. Again, just facts. You get yourself to an unhealthy weight, and then you're expecting society to and the environment to morph around you. This is bullshit, people. This is absolute fucking bullshit. Bruce Sturgill, 39, who founded the culture and clothing website Chubster in 2011, said he walks into every restaurant expecting to be uncomfortable. He wears a size XXL or XXL shirt, the smaller side of big, he says. When I was at my biggest, I wore a triple extra large shirt. Never had a problem sitting in a restaurant chair. Not once. We are in the early stages of this movement about fat acceptance and body positivity, and you're seeing it in fashion and on television, but not so much in restaurants, Bruce said. Some restaurants are gracefully adept at accommodating extremely large customers. The trick is to not let them know a thing while we scramble like fools to figure it out, said Tia, a name I can't pronounce, Martin, whose family owns Commander's Place in New Orleans. But that kind of awareness appears to be rare, even though the national girth has grown for decades. About 40% of Americans over the age of 20 are classified as obese in a 2017 report by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. We are in a great cultural movement where people are talking about equality and inclusion, and size falls into that, said Cheryl Durst, 57, chief executive of the International Interior Design Association. Oh, she's so qualified to be speaking on that. First things first, because now I'm a little pissed off. If you are morbidly obese, if you have eaten yourself to the point where you're morbidly obese and you claim body positivity, in my opinion, of course, you are a shitty, disgusting person. And I don't mean how you look. I don't mean your weight. I don't mean anything like that. But you are hijacking a movement that is meant for people that have lost limbs in like the service of our country, that have battle scars, that were born without limbs, that are cancer survivors, that have no choice in what has happened to them. You are hijacking that movement because you love cake. You are a horrible person. If you're a morbidly obese person and you claim body positivity, you are a horrible person, in my opinion, of course. Now, as for the 40% of people that are obese, I'm going to start using that number, because I know that the person that wrote the article and everybody, they're trying to make it seem like, well, there's so many of us that there's so many of us that we really, really need accommodation. They're trying to make that number bigger, like as if the number of obese people, the percentage of obese people being larger, is a good thing or should help the argument. That's insane. The 40% of the country being obese, you people should be worried about the parking at a gym. That you should make sure that they have enough parking at gyms, not if they have seating for you in a restaurant. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but accommodations at restaurants should be the last thing on your mind. Living to 60 comfortably without your knees killing you, your back killing you. You look in the camera right now. Look in the screen right now. If you're a morbidly obese person, if you are close to if there's 10% of the country I believe is morbidly obese, but if you're an obese person, look in the camera right now and ask yourself this: when this old bald man says, your knees are killing you, your back is killing you, you're terrified every single day that you're putting yourself at risk for cancer, higher risk for cancers. You're terrified you're going to throw a stroke. Those stairs that you walked up the other day, they almost killed you, and you know it. You tying your shoes is an embarrassing thing because you can't reach your feet very well. You know it. You can look in this screen right now and you can hate me all you want, but you're hating me because I'm saying the truth. That's the difference. So I'm not going to read this entire article, and I'm not going to link it. You can go look it up if you want to. But later on, the author says, discussing strategies to help bigger customers is something many restaurants are loath to do, either because they don't have one or because they don't want to link their food with obesity. Shocking that they wouldn't want to do that, right? Waffle House, a 2,100 unit restaurant chain based in Georgia, has been criticized for its calorie-heavy menu, offers mostly booths and fixed counter seats, but it also provides larger diners freestanding chairs at counters and tables. The company would not discuss those decisions. We are a private company and keep to ourselves when it comes to our strategies, said Pat Warner, its director of public relations. Many chains have added movable furniture, wider booths, and chairs to meet their industry standards for many people who weigh as much as 400 pounds. Some of these accommodations are made to satisfy requirements laid out by the Americans with Disabilities Act, but not specifically for larger customers. Courts have held that obesity constitutes a disability under some circumstances, but it remains an emerging area of law. Basically talking about how they want the rights of everybody else, everything else. We just want to be treated like equals. We want to be inclusionary. But don't forget, many court systems view us as disabled. What the fuck does that even mean? Like, okay, so you're disabled. I mean, should we mark the chairs for fat people? Because handicapped seats are normally marked. I mean, like, I don't even understand. Like, if you are doing something, if you are in a state where you want to remind people that, hey, by the way, I can be viewed as disabled, how is that healthy? Like, I mean, like, how are you claiming that it's okay? It's something you can do something about. Let's fix this shit. You know, let's get healthy as a country. Let's get healthy as a people, as a species. Let's stop pandering by you're arguing about the size of restaurant booths and restaurant chairs and the aisles in restaurants while claiming it's because you're disabled from eating too much food. Do you realize how stupid that sounds? Do people understand how ridiculously ignorant that shit sounds? That sounds so dumb. That is like, you know, I'm disabled because I have black lung, but the big problem is that now because I have black lung, I have to wait in line at the convenience store to get my cigarettes. That's fucking stupid. That really is. That is like saying I have, you know, I have a fucked up liver from drinking so much, and the big problem is now I can't have alcohol delivered to my house. That's stupid. And that's just my 2 cents in the matter. My name's Alan Roberts. Hit me up on Instagram at EverydamnDayFitness. Hit me up on Twitter at EverydamDayFitness. Also on Facebook at EverydamDayFitness. And I'm on the internet at EverydamDayFitness.net. And I know it's bothering a bunch of you that I'm talking about obesity so much, but I'm one of the only damn ones. So if you want to have other people like help out, feel free. God damn.